He's played more for Ulster, and Romain Poit is in charge. His whistle will start the Six Nations in 3 weeks' time. Scotland against Ireland he's in charge of. He'll also be at Twickenham for England against Italy. Exeter won the toss, and they chose to play with the wind in the first half. It's not one of those devilish winds that flies off the River Exe sometimes, but it's significant enough.
Let's go.
And Ulster will have it in their faces in the first 40 as Paddy Jackson gets us underway. And Tom Johnson, first European skirmish for a year, and he gathers and goes on a little confidence-inducing burst. Scrum half is Dave Lewis. Told you that Will Chudley could be out for 2 to 3 months with the pec injury that he suffered. That's a major blow for the Chiefs, with the playoffs very much on their mind in the Premiership, and who knows, maybe European quarter-finals, but they're going to need perhaps an even bigger miracle than they enjoyed last season. This is Ian Henderson's first touch. Jackson, now Stuart McCloskey, doing what he can to challenge Robbie Henshaw in the Ireland 12 shirt with the Six Nations on the horizon. Scrum half, Dave Shanahan, first Ulster start. Rowan Pienaar with us tonight rather than in his Ulster shirt, and Trimble neatly away from Woodburn to pick out Louis Luding. South African keeping his place at fullback despite the return of Charles Piatow, who's on the wing tonight.
Stay red.
Jackson decides that all that hard work, ball in hand, wasn't taking them very far, so he hoists it high and they win the knock-on of Steenson. Jackson once more, and Pete Brown in the scrum cap, and they're stretching it with Luke Marshall. Gathered in by the fullback, Phil Dolman, an ever-willing runner with the ball. 6 years now since he scored a European try, but as the last line of defence, they're a few better, and Woodburn, under a lot of pressure from Rory Best, can't find the necessary accuracy. Stephen Ferris is with us this evening.
Thank you very much for having me. This is unbelievable. First time in Sandy Park, here in the Tomahawk chant before I got here. It's a great atmosphere. It's great to see. Both teams are here to throw the ball around. Bit of rugby being played. Ulster initially going backwards, but forcing Exeter into an early mistake.
First line out after a lot of running around after 2.5 minutes for the great Rory Best. An emotional evening for him back in November, his 100th Irish cap against Australia. And then McCloskey bursting through a big hole, and he's got Reedy to his left. Reedy, who scored at the Kingspan in October, scores at Sandy Park at the start of the new year. Sean Reedy and Ulster, with an energetic start, have the try they deserve.
He is not just a battering ram up the middle of the pitch. This guy has a turn of pace. Stuart McCloskey, take a bow. He doesn't give it early, he holds on to it. Gets through, look at that there, lovely time pass straight through. Holds onto the ball, and look at this for a one-handed offload. Thank you, Sean Reedy, who's been tremendous form for Ulster of late. Gets over for another try.
Absolutely, Ulster. I mean, the pace at which they've started this game has been brilliant. They knew they had to win. They had to get something out of it. In an ideal world, they take 5 points, which means 4 tries, and 1 after 3 minutes. Brilliant start for the Ulstermen.
Reedy's try back at the Kingspan, very much due to the magic of Charles Piatow that evening. He'll be buying Stuart McCloskey a beer after this one. They've got that breeze to contend with the kickers in this first half, and as much as Jackson tried to keep it low, he couldn't find the target, so they'll content themselves with the 5-point start.
Yeah, Sean Reedy, he's been an inspiration for us this season. He's been playing in the number 8 jersey ahead of Roger Wilson, and deservedly so. He's put in some magnificent performances, but to see a mistake there from Ulster straight away after scoring that 5 points.
Gives the Chiefs opportunity to rebuild themselves for the first time, with Mitch Lees, Jeff Parling and Ollie Atkins' head injuries last weekend, you may remember. Jeff Parling's head injury, very well documented. He, not surprisingly, not with us tonight. Dave Lewis is. He'll be enjoying the chance to stretch his legs for the first time in a while. Jack Knoll with the natty headgear to Johnson. Pink cap to red cap. This is Luke Cowan-Dickey. His first European try in the win in Bordeaux last month. A win that took them back in the picture a little bit after losing their first 3 games. And then Campagnaro, under lots of pressure, tried to get the ball away. It went backwards.
It's good defence though from Ulster. Their line speed's good. They're forcing extra. And here's Dave Shanahan. He's gone. It's good play from Dave. He's waiting for support. Paddy Jackson's there to pick up the ball.
Reedy finds McCloskey. Passing sequence that reverse brought the try a couple of minutes ago. Pete Brown in the starting shirt with Ian Henderson shifting from 5 to 6 this evening. And Paddy Jackson again just very happy to play the territory, put a little bit of pressure back on Ulster and an Ulster man, Ian Whitten.
Away, Black, away!
On the run, Trimble. Just his 5th game this season, Trimble.
Yeah, Andrew Trimble hasn't played a lot, and he's the captain for Ulster this season. Him and Rob Herring are sharing the captaincy. It hasn't really went to plan for him, but great start tonight. That's what we like to see from Andrew Trimble, coming off an outside shoulder with a hard run, and hopefully more of that to come.
Hands out!
Chris Henry and Pete Brown combining on the 10-metre line. And now the former captain, Rory Best, happy to leave the job to others these days. Once more, it's Brown. 2 former Quinslocks side by side tonight, Brown and Kieran Treadwell. And Jackson again looking for some room in tight spaces. There's none better than Piatow in a tight space. Henderson spinning away. This is Shanahan, 23, only his 2nd game of the season. Preferred to Paul Marshall tonight. Big decision to play him at scrum half. And then Louis Ludik popping up and releasing Piatow.
No right form.
Shanahan again, and McCloskey, who is such a handful. Just the 1 test cap so far in the Six Nations last season against England at Twickenham. But the hope for him of more to come.
I think this here is just really good stuff from Ulster. They've been patient, they're going through multi-phases, they're not making mistakes, sucking a few of the Exeter boys into the breakdown, and just maintaining the possession. It's really, really good work from an Ulster perspective.
Defensively, Hugo, this is hard yakka from the Chiefs at the moment.
It really is. I mean, up to 15 phases now, and Ulster are using their forwards, going really tight, using their battering rams, trying to get on the front foot to spread them wide. But Exeter got to be on red alert, and you've got to tip your hat in terms of their discipline. It's been brilliant so far.
This goes in head first once again. This is Callum Black, one of just 4 fit props tonight for Les Kiss. And Piatow, not one of those wingers who gets hypothermia by staying out wide. What a combination here McCloskey will offer defensively tonight.
He's a player that always looks to work, create space, makes it himself, and finishes extremely well. Him and Jack Knoll, 2 outstanding wingers on the pitch tonight.
Oh, and then the breakthrough comes from Trimble. And he's managed to find Paddy Jackson via the torso of Jack Knoll, and on they go with Henderson, who's hit hard but not hit backwards by Ben Moon. And was that Knoll flying in for the attempted interception, but still 7 or 8 metres short. Ulster continuing to press and look likely, but not now. In the end, Chiefs had too many bodies there, and they draw the penalty.
I think something that's very evident from an Ulster point of view is that their wingers are getting their hands on the ball. They're not staying out wide waiting for the ball to come to him. Andrew Trimble a couple of times coming short off Paddy Jackson. He looks like a man possessed tonight. He's got a point to prove. The Six Nations just around the corner, a Lions tour at the end of the year. For Andrew Trimble to find a bit of form tonight would be absolutely brilliant.
Ulster have dominated possession, that's quite clear to see. 79% they've already had in the opening 9 minutes, but for Exeter, 22 phases, broken a couple of times. The work rate to get back and fix those messages been brilliant.
just the business, Hugo, as a winger, having to defend when you've got the other wingers popping up in positions you're not expecting them to all the time.
Yeah, he's always forever changing that landscape, changing the picture, and coming off your wing, people see them running into traffic, but what they're trying to do is actually finding bigger, less mobile guys, pick on them to try and make those holes.
Same Chiefs line out. Some in the safe hands of Luke, Cow and Dickey for the time being. Now Lewis flings it to Steenson. They've got a little bit of room out here to the left via Campagnaro, and now Dolman.
Stay 9, stop!
Ollie Woodburn will be the chaser-in-chief of that kick, and it finds grass. And it will draw its journey to a conclusion in the in-goal area.
Looked like there was a bit more room out there, and I thought they were going to keep the ball in hand, but decided to kick ahead, and probably the wrong option.
I didn't see with the post. I thought you grounded. Sorry.
It's not been great in the Pro 12 for Ulster of late. Injuries haven't helped, but they're down in 6th right now after a run of defeats including in Dublin to Leinster on New Year's Eve and against the Scarlets in Llanelli last Friday, when they actually played well for the first part of the match, but really frustratingly, and partly as a result of that penalty try, which was much talked about, and the yellow for Sean Reedy, they ended up losing it. But they've started brightly here, but they've got some defending to do. The break from Knoll finds Witten! And Witten and Armand not quite able to link, but the first real sharp threat from the hosts.
Great play there from Exeter. They spot the space on the outside. There's no mismatch, it's just good play. Jack Knoll comes back in the inside, slight step off his right foot, and he's got Witten there in support.
Really good attack once again. Nick, you just mentioned it, wingers offering themselves up. Jack coming off his wing, and this time being a guy who's actually opened up holes. Ian Witten, a really good support line, but what I like from both sets of teams so far, and we spoke so much about attack, is that even when they're broken, their work rate to get back and fix up any defensive frailties. Really good from Pietau, getting back and getting in the passing lane.
You touched, Nick, on Ulster's form of late. I think it's 7 losses in the last 11 games. As an Ulster fan, you know, there's a lot of frustration around the province, around the club. You know, sitting 6th in the table, there's so much expectation around Ulster that this team is going to perform. They've got the players there. Yes, they've had their fair share of injuries of late, but there's no doubt, and it's very evident in the first 12 minutes of this match, that there's a lot of talent there, and they should be winning a lot more games.
Amongst the talent, first time as a starter in Europe, Ross Kane, the tight head. Only his 3rd in total. He's bashing ears with Ben Moon right now. So many props missing. Carl McCall's gone for the season. Leanne Herbst, Rodney Ayew, Ricky Lutton. Provides opportunities for the likes of young Ross Kane, however.
Very much so, and I think I seen Ricky Lutton earlier tonight in the A game was being played at Kingspan Stadium on Friday night, and it just shows you that a few injuries actually had to call a couple of guys from that to come and support the senior side this weekend.
Still looking to dig themselves out of defence.
Stay red, stay, hold.
Via the boots of Paddy Jackson, they manage that.
What I've liked from both teams in the opening exchanges is just their ability to use the ball off line out. We see it here from Ulster, a lovely line from Chris Henry. You see him, he attracts Steenson, which creates the space. Paul from Steenson, great work from Ulster, one-on-one ability, offload, simple try. First phase try, killing Exeter.
This is Witten, who does well to get over the gain line. Just about held up by Jackson. Oh, and now Knoll again, who's having an absolute crackerjack of a month and finds Armand. Witten once more. 65 games and 7 tries in an Ulster shirt. A couple of caps as well on a tour to North America when he was still with them in 2009, but now trying to work a way through the defence. Chiefs will get to work from an attacking scrum.
I think the Chiefs are quite lucky there. I think that ball was maybe ripped off Jack Knoll there, but I could watch this player all night with ball in hand. Just look at that power, strength, slick offload to the support coming. and it's just good play. But again, it's tremendous defence from an Ulster perspective, and both teams going hammer and tong.
I'm sure that Ulster fans will thank me for saying this, but for all his exploits elsewhere, he's never scored a try in the Champions Cup. Which almost sure as eggs means he'll score one tonight. We will see.
That's right, 10 Champions Cup games, and let's face it, Exeter have now got the ball in Ulster's 22, and their red zone conversion, and what I mean by that is the amount of times they get to the 22 and the amount of points they come out with. In terms of visits to points ratios, they're certainly over more than one a visit. So they're in the right area. And just as I say that, scrum goes down.
Back down. Front row down.
He's not picked out anyone in the front row, he's just blamed everyone. And Ben Moon, Luke Cowan-Dick and Greg Holmes will take collective responsibility for that. Referee Roman Pike weren't with us at the start.
I think psychologically that's a great moment for Ulster Rugby. Young Ross Keane, a member of the Ulster Academy, coming up, and he's against an experienced man there in the front row, and going into the rest of the scrums throughout the game. He'll definitely have that one in the back of his mind.
Maybe too far away, come closer.
Into the arms of Brown. Taken on by Shanahan. A little bit of pace about him. Once more by Best. 34 now. But batteries fully charged, as they always have been. Pete Brown has been busy early on. Challenge Cup winner with Quins 4.5 years ago now, in the side that Hugo played in.
That's right, yeah, played with him a few years ago, a very big ball carrier. Just looking at Jack Noel, the work rate of him just popping up everywhere, picking on those lazy defenders. On this occasion, it's a guy in at guard, not doing his job. Shouldn't be drifting there. Jack Noel spots it, bursts straight through, gets his arms free. That's what happens. As a winger, you want to get as many touches as you can. And right across the pitch, he's always busy, hungry, looking for work.
Is that pre-planned, Hugo, for him to come in there, do you think?
I think so, the way in which he was loitering behind the ruck, certainly loitering with intent, but he finds himself in those positions, but he also executes it so well as well.
It's Neil Doak, head coach, working alongside Les Kiss, although for how much longer? There's 1 or 2 ounces of speculation back home at the moment that they might be thinking of freshening up the coaching team. Alan Clark, who looks after the forwards, and Doak's contract both up at the end of the season. We will see.
We will see. It's very interesting indeed. I think it's in the press back home that potentially Neil Doak and Alan Clark might be out at the end of the season. I think their contracts are up at the end of this season, so watch the space. Again, it's just a little bit more frustration from an Ulster point of view, the fans and everybody kind of not knowing what's around the corner. So hopefully they can get that sorted out sooner rather than later.
Stand the scrum penalty coming against Ulster. Cowan-Dick picking out Johnny Hill. Steenson, oh, there was a little bit of float on that, which invited Andrew Trimble to have a sniff. He wasn't far away. And that's hard, decisive work on the floor from the Ulsterman.
Under the pressure, diving on the ball.
Like you mentioned it there, Nick, perfect in terms of a defensive read from Andrew Trimble. Gareth Steenson's probably put a bit too much airtime on it, especially when you've got an aggressive winger like Trimble coming off his wing, and it just made it that much harder for Exeter to resource that ball. Really good defensive play once again. It's quite interesting that we're talking about Ulster needing 4 tries, Exeter being an attacking team, and it's coming down to really good bits of defence here. Seen where the space is trying to get out there. Trimble keeps his eyes on the prize. That was Phil Dolman. Really good counter-attacking, counter-rucking. They win the penalty.
25 European tries now, Andrew Trimble. Tommy Bowe and Gordon Darcy just one ahead. Brian O'Driscoll will be part of our highlight show tonight, has 33. Vincent Clare, the all-time top scorer, with 36. Off another well-worked Ulster line-up there, pressing again just outside the 22. Chris Henry making sure that it's still the visitors' ball. Henderson trying the win against Claremont. He hurt his shoulder in this fixture back in Belfast in October, but fully revved up again. Once more, it's Brown. Shanahan just getting caught up in the rose thorns there. And Chiefs, with the counter-up, have won it back.
Turnover ball, Nick. It's great defence. You got to take your hat off to the Exeter.
Here goes Woodburn. He very nearly got through, and Treadwell with an important intervention.
That's a ridiculous tackle from Treadwell. That's a second rower on a winger making that tackle.
Cowan-Dickey. He missed the game in Belfast, Cowan-Dickey. He was in the middle of 2 months out with an ankle injury. But again, he one of those who is very much into his season now as Armand trucks it up, playing the advantage, and this is Hill. Tom Johnson was in support, but Hill held on to it. Steenson, Witten, and Campagnaro, that's really nice. And Campagnaro scores! Oh my goodness, they play with some pace and some very fluent hands when the Chiefs are at their best.
Well, they decided to go with it. They had the penalty advantage, but what a finish. That's great play. Andrew Trimble hits in from the outside, leaves the space. Campagnaro, leg drive. Can he get the Ulster defence, get him down? Absolutely not, and he powers over into the corner.
Really good shape. Campagnaro opened himself out the back. Trimble makes a bad read, and then look at this, the power in the legs. Brilliant finish. Like you said, they did have the penalty advantage, and Exeter have just maximised that opportunity. A lovely finish, good show and go, good power through the legs. Wasn't going to stop him. He is a big, powerful unit.
Well, he's barely played this season, Michele Campagnaro, because of a hamstring injury. I was talking to Conor O'Shea this morning. He's thrilled to have him back in his Six Nations squad. Campagnaro is buzzing, and with finishing like that, you can see why your old boss is so happy to have him part of what we'll be enjoying over the next few months, Hughes.
Absolutely, Nick. You know, he can give you such great go forward, especially off line out and scrum ball. But when you've got that finishing ability as well, no wonder Connor's thrilled to see him back fit.
Oh, it looked good from a Chiefs perspective for all but the last 4 or 5 metres.
Gareth Steenson, an old colleague of mine, played Irish under-21s with him. I think he had the golden boot the year before in the competition. An absolute prolific goal scorer, goal kicker, apologies, and it's good to see him out there captaining the Exeter Chiefs tonight.
I can complain about the entertainment quotient so far in this match. Both sides are ripping it from the off, and here goes Ulster's try scorer, Reedy, bringing in Louis Ludit. Jared Payne amongst those on a depressingly long injury list. We've already talked a lot about it. There's a lot to talk about when it comes to Ulster injuries, but they're not worrying about that right now. They're playing some very attractive rugby. And this is McCloskey. Henry got it away quickly. Signed a new contract this week that'll keep him at the province for another 3 years. And here's Ross Kane via the academy, only 22. Jackson. And again, Henry. Not content just to take the first contact. And asking a tad too much of a chap who has to go a long way down, Kieran Treadwell, when the ball's by your laces.
It's a poor ball, but a really good bit of play. Just talking about Trimble and how aggressive he is in his defence. This time he gets it absolutely wrong. Steps in, which opens up the door for Campagnaro. Really good show and go. 1-on-1 against Rory Best. From that far out, there's only one winner. Lovely, lovely finish. And as you said, Nick, you know, a game which has given us so much so far. 2 attacking teams, both attacking mindsets, given us so much to be happy about.
Seems a good chance to have a chat with Les Kiss, Ulster's boss. The good and the bad, Les. Let's start with the try. You'll have enjoyed the way you started this game. A lot of energy and a lot of purpose.
Yeah, certainly. You know, we had an intent there about our play. Our breakdown work was very good. unfortunately, the last 5 minutes we've probably given a choke tackle away. I lost a turnover there, and then a very poor discipline error by Luke Marshall. So, we've probably been the architects of our own grief in the last 5 minutes.
And the decision to play a lot off first phase, particularly off the line-out, you're giving it a blast right from the off at the moment.
Yeah, and I think you can see the same from Exeter. You've got two good teams that like to do play, and they're a very organised team, so we just have to be on the ball as well, because they do play from first phase a lot too.
Brilliant, thanks Les, really appreciate your time.
Yes, thank you.
Fine.
Dave Lewis then. Ian Henderson adds his weight to Ulster's scrum. Talk that Dave Lewis might be off to Harlequins at the end of the season. Chiefs lining up Nick White from Montpellier, Steenson and Witten, who's been busy in midfield. Everyone's been busy, including Jack Knoll. And that will take some defending. Oh, that was really nicely read by Louis Ludic. That was a ball that was threatening not to behave itself, and Ludic positioned himself perfectly, Ludic.
Use it!
You talk about Ulster attacking off set-piece ball. That's exactly what Exeter done there. Really good hands from Ian Witten. Lovely ball out wide, and a nice kick ahead. Unfortunately for Exeter, it didn't come to anything, but that's great play to watch.
Kind of went out of fashion a few years back, this idea of attacking from first phase possession. Stephen, there was a feeling that you couldn't do it because defences were too organised. Tables have turned a little bit.
They have, and it's really entertaining to watch. I think as a spectacle, I know it's only 5-5 at the minute, but as a spectacle, it's brilliant to watch. A set piece, there hasn't been that much mauling, as they say that we get into a maul, but it's brilliant to watch from both sides, and it's such an arm wrestle.
It's a good watch. This is
Advantage, no
Witten. That's been lost forward. It was actually lost forward off an Ulster hand, so it'll be Chiefs with the advantage. And Waldron. Mentioned his name much ball carrying so far, but he made half a metre there, and this is Moon. Roll again, you can pick them out for yourself in that pink cap.
Advantage over!
Cowan Dickey. Some support from his loose head. And Steenson with the cavalry all to the left. Amongst him is Witten, and now Dolman, and Dolman does nicely to get the ball out of the tackle as Trimble tried to hold him.
Line out, black line out. 1 foot out.
That's good defence in the end there from Ulster. Andrew Trimble nearly getting caught out again, but he done well. He worked hard. He got on the outside, and I think it's actually an Exeter line out here. Good position again for Exeter to attack from.
Yeah, really good intent from Exeter again. Getting plenty of width on the game and trying to get their dangerous runners into the game. But once again, repelled by Ulster. No doubt, Exeter will be looking to set up another driving maul.
If they set this up properly, it's so hard to stop. One of the cornerstones of their game, and you can be sure that Ulster's defensive work this week will have centred on trying to stop this. Well, they brought it down quickly, which is a good start. Slowed things up.
Six on the side. On the side.
Armand. Tackled by Callum Black, but he's still making some progress. Lewis with reasonably fast ball. Mitch Lees wasn't far away, and that's how close the Chiefs are to taking the lead for the first time as we approach the half-hour mark.
No hands, yeah.
Lewis might decide to spread it here, or he might go on his own. And he can't be far away. But Romain Poit was in a decent position, and he tells us that he was held up.
Jeez, I think that might be a try. Hugo, what do you think? It's
oui.
going to the TMO.
On va vérifier.
Arno Blondel has come in.
Arno, can you hear me?
He has clearly suggested that.
Oui, Romain.
Is it a try, yes or no?
Just wonder whether actually Romain Poit was on the wrong side and whether his view may well have been blocked.
I think you're absolutely right. You see it's such a good body position from Ben Moon. Tries to get under Pete Brown. You certainly won't be able to tell from that decision. I think you need to go to the other side of the ruck. This is Romain Poit's angle. No decision can be made certainly off this. Try yes or no. think this will probably be the best angle now. The question is, isn't there any reason I can award the try? It's yes or no, so it's got to be conclusive evidence.
Un bras dessous. Pour l'instant. Attends, il remet un dernier ralenti pour voir.
Not sure it's conclusive.
Ok, good. Non, refuse de laisser.
Okay. No try. Scrum 5.
Oh, well, that's excellent. I think he managed to confuse us all. And Roman can see the funny side, but no try. We'll have a scrum, though, which is almost as exciting.
He signalled the try and then he awarded no try.
We got there in the end.
I think Ulster got off the hook there. For me, that ball looked like it was grounded, but fair play to the Ulster lads. There might have been a hand or two underneath it, but they're under more pressure here. The front row are going to have to dig in. This Exeter pack have got their tails up.
Ross Kane was down very early, ready to tell what's going to come at him via Ben Moon. Greg Holmes and Callum Black on the other side, and you're pointing out Jack Knoll. You go.
Jack Knoll once again looking for work. He is their most potent strike runner, and why wouldn't you put him behind the scrum? The last scrum went really well. They got a good nudge on Ulster, and if they do manage to give him a really good platform, he can play inside Steenson on the flow side, or he can attack blindside with Phil Dolman.
He's sidestepping the shaver and the scissors, by the way, not for any fashion statement, but because he had a bet with Jess that when they were both fit, they would both shave. And because Matt Jess isn't yet fit, Jack Knoll looks like that.
Looks like he was in Castaway with Tom Hanks.
Bind. Set.
I'm just jealous, Nick. I could never grow a beard like that.
A moment of concern here for Ulster, who started well but have been under some pressure, and Waldron's picked it up and he's spinning towards the line. And Roman Poit trying to get a look at this one. And again, it might need a little more work from our friend Arnaud Blondel, the TMO.
Arnaud, second question.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Nick. Has he 8 tries he scored this season in all competitions?
He has, yeah.
D'accord.
He's only got one of his 8 tries in Europe against Bordeaux. But you just wonder, Stephen, whether the turn at the end may well have done it for him.
I think it's the boys weighing in behind him here, just getting him over the line.
Moi, je vois la maîtrise sur le toucher à terre. Joueur, pas de souci.
Fair play to Thomas Waldron. He's turned his body there, he's kept the legs pumping, and he's got over the line. And I think that's going to be his 9th try of the season.
We award the try. Time on.
Premiership, Champions Cup, doesn't matter. 8 Champions Cup game, 8 try for Thomas Waldron. And the Chiefs, who were behind, are now ahead as we approach the half-hour mark, and they've stretched that lead. Steenson's conversion.
Talking about Exeter and their conversion rate in the red zone, every time they've got into Ulster's 22, they have looked promising. A scrum which wasn't that stable, but Thomas Waldron from 5 metres out, brilliant. They've had 5 visits to Ulster's 22, and they've come away with 12 points.
Jackson with the lengthy restart, straight down the middle, taken by the fullback Dolman. In the wars this season, he was out for a couple of months with a hand injury, hurt his knee in his comeback. But with us now. And again, it's Whitten running hard. Cowan Dickey.
Tackle!
Holmes. That's nice from Tom Johnson. Starting to enjoy playing and starting games again. Campagnaro, the try scorer, to Dolman, who's proved to be a little bit of a thorn. Wonderful from Woodburn. Cotton on to move to his left, however.
I didn't see yours. First one was black. Didn't see the red one. Probably just walk about this side, that's good.
they're finding some profit down this left-hand side with Dolman and Woodburn combining.
Yeah, Rory Best seems to be finding himself in the wider channels a good bit, and they seem to be exploiting that. The Exeter guys are getting a few mismatches on the outside, but I think it's just good play. It's really good attack, and fair play to the Ulster boys for scrambling back and forcing the Exeter lads into a mistake.
Steve, I was just going to ask you that point. Rory Best has been in that channel a few times. It was a one-on-one of Campagnaro for the try. Is that good identification from Exeter? Is that just how Ulster are defending?
Well, Rory Best, a really good defender. He's more of a choke tackler. Him and Ian Henderson would work really hard on that. But yeah, he's just been caught on the outside a few times. I think they need to kick with their restarts and get the ball back again. And at the minute they're not. They're missing their first up tackles and just putting pressure on themselves. And Rory Best has found himself out in that outside channel, and it's difficult sometimes, Hugo.
And now Piatau, and we all just edge a little bit closer to the edge of our seats whenever Piatau's on the ball.
It's a great battle, that, him up against Jack Noel today.
Henderson on halfway.
Every time Henderson's got the ball today, they're on him like a rash. He hasn't made a lot of meters today at all. They're chopping him low. One's going low, one's going high, and really slowing the big man down. It's taken him a few seconds to get up there.
Look again on the bounce to McCloskey. Once again, McCloskey and Piatau offering a twin threat. It's nicely done by Campagnaro.
Yeah, really good decision there.
Playing in offside position.
Some offside, however, so it'll be an Ulster penalty.
This is a threat of Piatau with those wide options. Good tackle from Jack Noel, but every time he gets the ball, he just attracts so much attention. Having to double up, Jack Noel, Campagnaro, one of the most exciting back three members, I think, in Europe.
Charles Piatau,
Keep a space.
Exeter's European tormentor-in-chief last season, is trying the quarter-final. And the reason we're seeing Johnny Simpson is because Ross Kane took a bit of a clattering, and it looks like Ross Kane, on the occasion of his first European start, is going to be replaced by Johnny Simpson, for whom this is his European debut.
He only made his Ulster debut a couple of weeks ago against Leinster, and what a baptism of fire this was going to be. But he carried the ball well against Leinster a couple of weeks ago, and I hope he has a good game tonight. But that's disappointing to see Ross Keane going off. I think it's a reoccurrence of a knee injury, possibly, that he was struggling with over the last couple of months. But a big opportunity here for Johnny Simpson.
That is a real shame, though, and another prop. There's Crook. Johnny Simpson on Pro 12 debut, as Stephen was saying, in Dublin on New Year's Eve, and now he's a European player.
No.
Shanahan has it, exploring the blind side, and Piatau, he's just danced his way beyond Jack Noel, and another bit of ballroom magic from Charles Piatau.
Oh, that's just scintillating to watch. Jack Noel, what happened, Hugo? Your man, he stepped inside him, turned him inside out, and look at that, straight over for a try for Ulster. But it's great set piece ball. It's a lovely maul. Shanahan goes down the blind side, picks out Charles Piatau. Oh, he's poetry in motion.
Well, I think he signed a 2-year contract with Ulster at the start of this season. Long-term plans may well be to return to New Zealand to challenge again for All Black caps. They're going to have some very good wingers in New Zealand, not to attract Steve Hansen and co, because that is just mesmerising, Hugo.
It's just incredible. You want to give your wingers one-on-one opportunities. Paddy Jackson delivered him the ball, but to finish, Jack Noel didn't get a finger on him, slipped over. The balance, power, the footwork, just sensational.
Well, the try was worth 15 points, but they'll have to stick with the 7, which the conversion gives it. But what a moment, what another moment from the magician that is Charles Piatau.
I know Wasps were trying their very hardest to try and hold on to this guy, but he signed a contract for Ulster. He's honouring his contract, and he's been a delight to watch this year for Ulster.
Tom Shanahan. Tagged in by Dolman. Tom Johnson. This is Steenson. And now Woodburn. Forward with some power, but that's gone forward. Just thinking that that at some point in the future, when Charles Piatow does decide to retire, Exeter may well pay for his leaving bash. They'll be absolutely thrilled when this bloke is no longer a rugby player.
Oh my word, he's been tormenting defences ever since he's come over to these shores. Was last year, settled into life at Ulster. The things he can do are just quite brilliant. But this try came about for me. Was just really good timing of the pass and Paddy Jackson. If you look how well he commits the defender there, what that does is take away that inside cover. Piatow sees it, massive step off his left, and it's simple try, quite outstanding. But also, you've got to say Paddy Jackson really played his part in the timing of the pass.
Come on, take it! Scratch! Bind! Set!
Picked up by the try scorer Reedy. Shanahan and Louis Ludick. Tackled well by Steenson. The new man, Johnny Simpson, European debut, takes it up. Ross Kane having to depart prematurely if you're just joining us. Looking for Piatow, and you can be absolutely sure that Jack Noel knew the importance of that gather.
Line out of scrum.
Absolutely. Piatow, we saw what he could do in space. He had to get that one quite right.
Scrum.
Ends up in a knock, and I'll tell you what, they take the scrum over that, because Piatow catches that. And that's a try for my money. Good intervention from Jack Noel. Doesn't quite catch it cleanly, but it doesn't matter. Thwarted the threat of one of the most dangerous wingers / fullbacks in European rugby. But also the confidence of Paddy Jackson at the moment. That combination between Piatow, Jackson, just looking for his friend, looking to get the ball in his hand as much as he can.
Survivor from the 2012 Heineken Cup final against Leicester when he was only 20. Season in, season out, he gets better and better.
I'd like to talk about that Heineken Cup final next.
Set!
We'll skirt around. It's a meaty Chiefs drive, but didn't disrupt Ulster's possession, and McCloskey and Shanahan. A slip from Ludick, and Woodburn was on him quickly. Brown takes it. I looked up at the clock. We played nearly 39 minutes. Where did that go? Well, that kick might go just a little bit too far. Dolman, no, it behaves itself.
1 minute, Laurie. Thank you.
That last scrum was a little bit concerning, Nick. Johnny Simpson come on for his first scrum and done really, really well. Held in there. Ulster got the ball away, but a lot more pressure coming on that second scrum for Johnny Simpson. Let's hope that he can continue in the second half and give Ulster a good platform.
Final minute of a very watchable first 40 here at Sandy Park in Devon.
What a turnover. What a turnover, Ugo.
I feel as if people are going to be sat at home saying Hugo absolutely loves Jack Noel, and do you know what? I'm not afraid to say it, I do. He's been brilliant the last few weeks. Saw his capabilities in attack, a missed tackle on Piatow, which is a blot on him this first half, but that turnover at a crucial time, quite outstanding. He really has got an all-round game.
There's nothing wrong with a good old-fashioned man crush, Hugo. It's important to talk about these things.
I fancy you as well, Nick. It's quite shared.
Time's up at the end of the first half. Taken by Johnny Hill. His first game of the season after a neck injury in Ulster in October. Still just 22. The Chiefs lock tonight. Dave Lewis. Chiefs decide that it's time for one more thrash before they head off for half-time. And Steenson, and again it's Campagnaro. They've looked threatening in this area, coming in on the angle, bending around Ulster's defence. This is Johnson, 35 in July, and now Knoll. And once more Witten. The artillery provided by Don Armand. Lewis, and Cowan-Dickey's lost it. And that draws to a conclusion. A thoroughly entertaining first 40 minutes here at Sandy Park. Ulster quickest out of the blocks. Sean Reedy scoring the opening try. Michele Campagnaro very shortly afterwards squaring things up for the Chiefs. Thomas Waldron put them ahead, but then Charles Piutau, of course, Charles Piutau has us level at half-time. Exeter 12, Ulster 12.
Welcome back to Devon, the final instalment of round 5 of this season's Champions Cup, and it's all square here. 12 all at the break, and we hope the second 40 will be just as entertaining as the first. But while we look forward to the second half, just heads up for you football fans, if you want to flick over to BT Sport 3 right now, the European Football Show Live is on there. Not that we want to lose you, of course, but the option is there should you want it. And don't forget, highlights of round 5 coming up after this match with Craig Doyle, Brian O'Driscoll and Lawrence Dallaglio. But back to the here and now, and as I said, nothing separating these two at the moment, but a win imperative for Ulster to keep their quarter-final dreams alive. So I'll hand you back to our commentary team for the second half. Stephen Ferris, Hugo Munir and Nick Mullins. All yours, guys.
Thanks, Sarah. I'm sure the European Football Show will have many qualities, but it will not have Charles Piutau. Oh my God. I mean, I've no idea whether he goes back on the team coach tonight or he just jumps on his own spaceship back to whatever planet he inhabits all on his own. But everybody at half-time was talking about one thing during the first half, Stephen Ferris.
Charles Piutau, he's an exceptional talent. Be interesting to see if he still has international ambitions to go back and play for the All Blacks, but he's been brilliant for Ulster this season, and I'd like to know many man-of-the-match performances he's put in over the last couple of years. I'd like to see his trophy cabinet.
We were talking, Hugo, I know they've got Milne the Scudder, and they've got Naholo, but Piutau isn't a bad option.
He's unbelievable, but it's not just his physical presence, his footwork, his skill, his decision-making is second to none as well.
Start of what we hope will be an equally entertaining second 40 minutes. Dave Lewis, the chief scrum half tonight. If you were late joining us, you will need to know that Will Chudley is going to miss the next 2 or 3 months for Exeter. Big 2 or 3 months for them. He's got a pec injury, a chest injury. So the likes of young Jack Maunder, Dave Lewis and Stu Townsend, who's on the bench tonight, will be busier than perhaps they'd have expected. Lewis once more finding Tom Johnson. First time he's been in Europe for a year or so.
Leave it!
Ulster last couple of rucks really going for that choke tackle focus, haven't they, Stephen?
Yeah, you look at Ian Henderson getting in there, but for me, if the attacking team is going forward, then there's absolutely no possibility that the referee can call them all.
That looked very high. And I just wonder whether Luke Marshall might have a little bit to answer for in a moment. We will see. But on we go for the time being with Witten feeding Dolman, and this is Johnny Hill. Once again, there's a fluidity about the Chiefs when they're moving at the very best. Stretching the material of this Ulster defence, and now they're trying to go through the middle. Waldron gave it a blast. Again, he's trying to twist and turn, but back will come. And, well, we're having no more from Romain Poit on the tackle that looked a tad high.
Yeah, in real time I thought it's definitely high. Is it out of control? He's got him over the shoulder, around the neck area. It started on his shoulder and rode high.
Well, I tell you what's happened here. Romain Pratt has seen that on the big screen.
Ouais, il entoure, mais il prend au ballon.
Okay.
J'entends rien, j'entends rien.
Tackled the ball.
J'entends rien.
Yeah, his mind's not for changing. Arnaud Blondel mentioned what we've been looking at.
Si, ça marche, mais t'es vachement loin.
But
Pierre, t'as
that's
parlé,
fine.
toi?
The referee says it's fine, and on we go.
That's it. He said he tackled the ball in my broken French from GCSE is what he said there. Brilliant. And I have to say, the referee's under so much pressure to make a decision as quick as what he's done in real time. Outstanding refereeing.
Psychologically, this is an absolutely massive point in this game, Nick. Holding out Exeter here. The scrum has been under pressure late in the first half. Johnny Simpson, a replacement on for Ross Keane. Are we going to be able to hold these boys out?
A lot of pressure on the loose head. Callum Black as well. His first European game of the season. Between the two of them, Rory Best, of course, with the weight provided by Treadwell and Brown, and it's a free kick. Can't imagine the Chiefs will do any more than just put another scrum down.
Support your body weight, red.
We see this a lot, especially when one team has got dominance in the scrum, giving away free kicks. Are they trying to entice Exeter into going quick, or are they not back in their scrum?
It's a difficult one, Hugo. I think, you know, Ulster can give away another free kick or another penalty here, and I think Exeter are going to keep scrummaging. Ulster are just hanging in for me. They're just going to dig in here and try and get something out of this scrum, but it's a tough moment in the game.
Should they get this ball out of the scrum, Hugo? Look where Jack Noel is. He can go left or right.
Yeah, once again adopting that position behind the scrum, hence why Paddy Jackson's come over to the blind side of Piatow. First things first is get this ball out of the scrum.
Noel goes to the left, and here he is. And then tries to run over Shanahan. And they're only a couple of metres away. And they're playing the advantage. Steenson, it's opening up. It's been intercepted. But we'll come back.
Collapsing scrum, red.
Back for the scrum penalty.
Hein? J'entends rien, Fanon, de ce que tu dis. Et qu'il essaye de te gérer la com.
Under pressure right from the start, aren't they, Steve?
Number one collapsing.
They're under serious pressure there in the front row. Rory Best, known as one of the best scrummaging hookers in world rugby. Even he's finding it tough in there, Hugo.
It's Callum Black in the end who was penalised for losing his bind. And interestingly, not going for the scrum, but they're just as good from this area of the game. This will be just as tough to repel.
I think Thomas Waldron will be on the back of it, looking for his 10th try of the season. Again, psychologically, can Ulster hold them out? It's a good set piece.
It's taken in by Armand, and Johnny Hill peeled away, and he's now part of this engine driving towards the line. Ulster once again have done well to first stop it and then straighten it up. Oh, that's great defensive work from Ulster.
That's brilliant, absolute brilliant defence. One of Exeter's strongest parts of their attacking game is their driving maul. And 5 minutes into the second half, the Ulster pack have firmly got their head on. It's a really good setup from Exeter, isn't it?
It is. A little bit more patience for me, Hugo. They're trying to get in and get over that line. But look, sometimes it's just about more control.
Unplayable,
and
red ball.
The Exeter boys just try to pile on the power there and get over the whitewash. But fair play to the Ulster lads. They hung in there and they held the boys up, and it's now a scrum.
Andy Warwick is on for Callum Black, as you will have seen.
Bind. Set.
Driven out by Stuart McCloskey. This is Andy Warwick. He's having an industrious season, Warwick. He's only missed one game, and he's in the thick of it now. And Pietau. Once more to Knoll. Tripped up by McCloskey on his way through. Lewis. This is Cowan-Dickey. Just ran through Rory Best. Once more, Johnny Hill. Steenson. It was lost by Tom Johnson.
No car advantage. Ball out.
Taken on by Johnny Simpson.
I'll tell you what, worrying for Exeter as well as Cowan-Dickey struggling with his ankles, really hobbling hard on his right ankle.
This is Knoll. Try in the draw in Allianz Park last Saturday, which the Chiefs will feel they should have won, playing as they did against 14 for so long, and Ben Moon barges his way through the middle.
New advantage of feet 2.
Steenson, and now Woodburn. Campagnaro. This is Johnson. Lewis and Steenson once more, and now Dolman, and now Knoll, and this is opening up nicely, and it was closed well by Luke Marshall, and it was an important closure. Best is down, getting back to his feet now, and once again Woodburn and the Chiefs have a little look on the left-hand side. Witten, who's been busy. Waldron. Cowan-Dickey. Desire from Best there, not quite matched in the end by the net result. This is Knoll. Continues to ask questions around the fringes. Cowan-Dickey seems to have run off whatever was troubling him ankle-wise. Steenson again, and Woodburn again, and Campagnaro offers something different in Exeter's midfield. He just straightens it up, powers his way to the line, and if he's managed to score, that is extraordinary strength from the centre. He's been held up, and Roman Prak coming back for something that's concerning him. He's coming back.
2 off his feet.
That's what he was coming back for.
That was the longest advantage ever, but Rory Best went off his feet. A new advantage. Fair play to Exeter for continuing to play, but good work by Ian Henderson again, getting underneath the ball and preventing Exeter from getting over for a try.
And this is Campagnaro once again. Big collision there with Trimble. Goes through Chris Henry, and just brilliant leg drive. You're absolutely right, Nick. He does offer something entirely different. They've got plenty of ball players, but the raw power and physicality which he offers is really crucial for Exeter.
It's normally Henry Slade and Sam Hill in midfield, but Campagnaro's return to fitness has given Rob Baxter a pleasing option in midfield. Rory Best still receiving some attention. If you missed any of this weekend's action, you want to enjoy some of it again, maybe Charles Pietau's try. Highlight show with Brian and Lawrence once we're done here at 7:45. Now what about rugby tonight, next Wednesday? It'll include Mike Ford and Richard Cockrell now, who's in Toulon. We're heading out to speak to them both this week, and then 5 more live games next weekend. The final round of full matches, including Clermont-Exeter next Saturday. We've also got Montpellier-Northampton, Leicester-Glasgow, Saracens-Toulon, and Zevre against Wasps on Sunday. So the final concluding round of Champions Cup full matches complete the last 8 quarter-final lineup.
Just to clear this up as well, Roman Poit.
Listen, clearly my assistant referee. When I am closer to you, maybe if you can do something for that.
So Exeter had the penalty advantage 40 metres out, but because Campagnaro was held up over the try line, they've accepted that as an advantage.
That was very clear before the half-time.
And have gone for a 5-metre scrub.
Clear
from him?
Yeah, from both.
Okay, I'll turn them up and I'll turn you.
I think Roman wants to hear our commentary, Hugo. I think that's the prize. He's saying we can't hear Stephen and Hugo.
I wouldn't be surprised.
And I can't continue in such a fashion.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
Either that or he's trying to get us turned down, which may well be the more likely option.
He never liked me talking to him when I was playing, so I don't know why he would want to hear from me now, Nick.
Arnaud, ça donne quoi, toi? Tu les entends loin aussi?
Moi, je t'entends très bien. Les JT, je les entends très faibles. Pareil que toi.
Attacking team.
Let's go! Let's go!
Crutch!
Another opportunity for Exeter and for
Bind!
Dave Lewis.
Set!
Exeter holding on a little here. And hold on to parity first 10 minutes of this second half. It's been all Exeter, really. Witten looks interested. He's the closest. And here he goes. What a try it would be for him against old mates. And then picked up by Johnson. McCloskey doing sterling work in the middle of all that, but it might not be enough. And he might not score the tries that carry the stardust, that carry the magic of a Charles Piatow, but make no mistake, Thomas Waldrom scores tries.
It doesn't matter if it's 1 yard out or 80 yards out. A try is a try, and the big man's on the score sheet again, number 10 of the season. And it's just continued pressure from Exeter. I don't think Ulster have touched the ball really in this second half, and I think you'd say, Hugo, it's nothing more than Exeter deserve.
I mean, the most telling stat about this second half, and it's 10 minutes old now, is that 100% of the game has been played in Ulster's half. This will be their first opportunity, and it's off a kick-off because of this try once again from Thomas Waldrom, when Ulster can get some possession, get some territory. At the moment, been monopolised by Exeter.
Is that a double sausage? I think it may well have been. What a fine effort.
Piatow tries double sausages.
We're being spoiled here, but a ketchup. What is not to like? Travel for 100 miles to get more entertainment than we're getting here at Sandy Park tonight. And you get fed as well.
I'll fall over again, Nick, if you continue.
It's a chase from Woodburn, but that was nicely done by Trimble, and this is Ludick, and Ulster responding in impressive fashion. Simpson took it on, and now Shanahan, and now Ludick again, a little show, and drove beyond the tackle of Steenson. Shanahan once more. Paddy Jackson hit low by Cowan Dickey.
How brilliant was that bit of turnover play, Stephen? That'd have been you back in your heyday.
That is incredible. Exeter scrambling defence. They get over the ball. They get this. They look at that, and they clear their lines as well. But they don't get the ball off the pitch, Hugo.
Yeah, opportunities for counter-attack from Ulster once again.
Jackson to Best, who was derailed by Tom Johnson. Piatow. There's a little snigger in the voice whenever Piatow gets the ball. You just expect him to do something brilliant every time.
Funnily enough, got tackled by two Exeter defenders. Weren't going to make that mistake again.
Jackson and Henderson.
No,
that's been lost forward by McCloskey.
Brian back.
Picked up by Mitch Lees.
Advantage over.
And with the advantage expired. Johnson, Dolman brilliantly to find Witten, and now Noel cuts back inside, and this time he goes beyond Piatow. Is it payback time? Yes. It wasn't Noel's try, it was Dolman's, but it was Noel's turn to tie Piatow up in knots, and he sets up the score that has Chiefs beginning to move away with this.
I better talk about that try. Hugo's still clapping his main man for that footwork. It was 1-0 Charles Piatow. I think it's 1 each after that. Absolutely exceptional play. Look at that there for a flick on the outside. Unbelievable step back inside your support on the outside. Dolman, can he get there? Draw and give. Easy try.
Lovely bit of play. That flick there from Phil Dolman, that's what gives them the opportunity. Then it's about Jack Noel and Campagnaro. Beats two defenders, like you said, 1-0 in terms of that battle Piatow, and a brilliant finish from Campagnaro.
who has 2 tries now. And he's making up for lost time as a starter in this Chiefs side.
Well, it's Ulster that was looking for the bonus point, and after 54 minutes, Exeter scored 4 tries, 6 tries in this game already. Don't think that's the end of it.
Talked about what Ulster needed to do to give themselves something to play for against Bordeaux next weekend, but at the moment it's Exeter still keeping the light burning. What about that from Dolman? Goodness me.
Hold on, Paddy, hold on. Whenever you want.
Changes as Woodburn brings it away. Clive Ross has come on for Pete Brown in the Ulster lineup, and Tom Johnson's been replaced by Kai Horseman. The Chiefs, for the time being, have taken a bit of a grip on this. See what Louis Ludick and co can do about it.
No!
Don Armand.
They just keep going for the choke tackle, Ulster, and they're just not getting it. Something they maybe identified with Roman Platt before the game, that he was going to give a few more choke tackling decisions, but that hasn't happened, and it's really putting them under pressure in defence.
They're having to work so hard. Marshall once more at the centre of that as Chiefs try to play at a pace that they hope might bring a 5th try. Steenson to Woodburn. Kai Horseman was up in support. Woodburn kept going, and the handling at the moment really is something to behold, and went forward actually to Ben Moon. So we're brought back. And we can have a chat with Rob Baxter, who I'm sure is enjoying this as much as we are. So much to talk about, Rob, in terms of try scoring. You'd have enjoyed Charles Piatow a little bit, but Jack Knowles got some revenge with that latest score.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very good game of rugby, isn't it? I think to be fair, we'll be a little frustrated. We think we've probably given up a couple of soft set piece tries. I think we've jumped in a little bit early and cut in on the first try. On the second try, they've sent their 10 to the far side of them all, and we haven't moved anybody over there, and we could have just gone and numbered up. But having said that, I think we're up to the speed of the game. I think we're carrying really hard. We're working extremely hard. And we're playing some good rugby, and we scored some good tries. I'm really pleased with the attitude the players are showing. It is what tonight was all going to be about, because there's relatively little left in the competition for us, other than playing with quality and playing with pride and playing with a bit of passion. So I'm really pleased with what we're showing.
Have you changed anything at half-time? Did you change anything? Because you're dominating this second period almost 100% at the moment.
Not a little bit. I think what we were able to do was just reaffirm to the players exactly what was working well. Where the space was in attack, and just tidying up a couple of little bits defensively, where Ulster were moving us around the pitch and actually getting numbers up on extra sides of the pitch that we weren't quite reacting to. But I think we've just tidied that up a little bit, and I think that's what you're seeing.
Great, thanks, Rob.
Right, thanks very much.
Okay.
What I like about Rob Baxter's comments is that Exeter looked like themselves in the game against Saracens last week.
McCloskey finds Piatow, and Piatow is off in his spaceship once more. Back to McCloskey, who tends to use more conventional transport, but impressive nonetheless.
It's the goose step, he's no space there on the outside, and he just seems to glide past Ian Whitten, and just a lovely goose step there, get a bit of space. It's good to see Ulster get some ball here, because they haven't had much in the second half.
Chiefs, by the way, preparing to bring on a brand new front row. Yendall, Lowe and Williams all readying themselves for action.
12 offside.
Lee Jackson drawing an offside from Ian Whitten. Ben Moon's getting back to his feet groggily, so I think a great deal of help defensively at the moment.
12 offside.
Ulster will take the penalty.
Be interesting to see what decision they go for. They need 5 points, really, but equally, you've got to win the game first. But they're confident what they're about, and they go into the corner.
Still lots of time. Still over a quarter of the match to go, Stephen.
Yeah, 20 minutes left, 21 minutes left in this. This is a big part of this game for Ulster Rugby. They're, for me, they're going to have to score in the next few minutes to keep their European hopes alive.
Those Chiefs changes in the front row that we talked about have happened. So Ben Moon, Luke Cowan-Dickey and Greg Holmes, starting in Europe for the first time, are replaced. Now, first take for Clive Ross, gathering, and now in the centre of that Ulster storm. The ball's in the arms of Rory Best. Very shortly be in the hands of Dave Shanahan. We'll see. It is now, and once more Exeter's midfield defence being tested. Again, drawing the penalty, so Jackson might as well go for broke. Finds Pietau, who will score. Oh, and he's still going. And he's got his second.
This game ain't over yet, Hugo.
No, I just wonder if Charles Pietau finds rugby easy. I mean, they've got this penalty advantage. How about that for a deft touch of Paddy Jackson? Pietau, a lovely finish, a simple finish in the end. But his touches won that pass, and time of the pass his first try in the first half. Then how about this for confidence? Just clocking up the Opta stacks, beats another defender in the dead ball zone over the try line. Lovely finish, game on.
It's all right having Charles Pietau there, but you've got to have a kick that's delivered as accurately as Paddy Jackson's delivering them right now.
Yeah, Paddy Jackson's definitely been one of Ulster's standout players this season. People say he's putting a lot of pressure on Johnny Sexton, especially Johnny Sexton, been out injured a good part of this season. But I think as well with Paddy Jackson, his pace kicking over the last couple of years has been a little bit inconsistent, and he's addressed that this year. And his kicking off the tee has been fantastic. Another little deft touch over there for Charles Pietau to score. Ulster are back in this game.
You wait for the whistle.
Another Ulster change. Jacob Stockdale is being drawn off the bench, and Luke Marshall is the man to give way. Worked hard defensively as much as anywhere. Luke Marshall. Here's Pietau. Once again escapes the clutches of Noel, but doesn't make that much more progress. Shanahan to Clive Ross. A busy season. Played his part in every game so far.
Play on.
No. By Ross.
No, 18.
The Chiefs' new men. Harry Williams. Stevenson. Dolman. Oh. Super glue for fingers. Really Woodburn. Noel again, and Waldron. One of the features of the match, the amount of time wingers have taken the ball inside the 15-metre lines in this match. Arman once more holds on to it, has the strength to throw off the attempted challenge of Louis Ludic. Ulster's defence up quickly, putting pressure on Stevenson. And once again, Dolman providing the outlet. Again, it's Campagnaro. Trimble driving through. I think they've got the turnover, which they have. Sean Reedy completes it.
Brilliant defensive set from Ulster. Big hit, good counter-up. Now they're back on attack. Got to get out their half. Pietau is on his own on this far left touchline. If they could have looked up and seen him.
Backward.
They might find him now. Paddy Jackson very much aware of where he is. What a pass, and he's got Campagnaro to beat. And Pietau again beats the defence, and Jackson, and Shanahan is chasing this. Shanahan gathers, he'll score. Oh, and he was just beaten to it. And Kai Horseman sweeps up the bits, but what a moment.
Take a breath. Oh my goodness, what play. Hugo, you said about Charles Piatoy being in the wing. Look at this here off the left foot, bang. But he keeps it alive. Paddy Jackson's on the outside. Oh, breathtaking rugby.
We're talking about a touch of Paddy Jackson, the kick for Piatoy, but the intelligence for that reverse kick, that banana kick to get the ball back inside, kicking to where his support were. He hasn't sliced that. That is a purposeful kick straight towards the post.
Well, word for Jack Yendall. He's only just come on, so he's got full lungs, but he needed them to get back to make life in the end impossible for Shanahan.
He definitely did. But, do you know, that there break for me came from Ulster's defence. They put the pressure on. Exeter were going from side to side, not really doing anything. I was expecting Steenson to get back in the pocket and put the ball into the corner. They didn't do that. Ulster counter-ruck, turnover, out to the best player on the pitch for me tonight, Charles Piatoy. They go 60 metres down the pitch, and now they've got a serious opportunity to potentially take the lead in this match.
Changes to bring you up to speed with. Franco van der Merwe is on for Kieran Treadwell.
We come back for scrum. I was wrong. It's a knock-on by 9. We have a scrum for black. Okay.
Well, that's interesting. Actually, in the end, Roman Platt has decided that the last hand didn't actually belong to Jack Yendall, but it belonged to Shanahan.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be an Ulster scrum there, but
my mistake.
Exeter can count themselves lucky.
To hear Rory Best there, Roman Platt said, everyone has seen it's a knock-on, and Rory Best just said, well, everyone's an expert, aren't they?
Thank you, Pierre.
But Roman Platt's come to the right decision.
I think Yendall might have got his hands to it first, but it was Shanahan who touched it on the way through. Anyway, it's a Chiefs scrum, and we're set for a fabulous final quarter of an hour of this match.
I think a good mention's got to go to Dave Shanahan, his first competitive start for Ulster Rugby, and he's done very, very well. I think Ulster see Paul Marshall as more of an impact coming off the bench. And for me, Dave Shanahan has done very well. His box kicking's been on the money. He's given his wingers a chance to get up and contest for the ball. Very, very unlucky not to score a try there on his first start, but fair play to the young man, and hopefully he has a great future ahead of him here for Ulster Rugby.
Bind. Set.
5 of the front rowers are new, and you heard Roman Platt just talk to him about holding on to their weight, keeping the balance to make sure we had a secure scrum for Waldron to drive off.
Use it, Black.
And the Merva making sure that the doors are locked close in. It always goes over the top into the arms of Jacob Stockdale. There's a replacement option ahead of Tommy Boat.
Sorry, it's a poor kick from Dave Lewis. That ball really needed to get off the pitch. Once again, they're under pressure. But Ulster let them off the hook.
Horseman was
turnover ball, 2 passes.
First over the ball, and let's see what they can do with it. Ollie Devoto, who's with us again, finding Campagnaro.
Tackle! Go, Bestie! Got 7! Go, Jacko! Got inside.
No. Waldron. Henderson working really hard to win that back, and Van der Merwe and Shanahan, who was almost preparing his victory speech before he gathered the ball.
You shut up, okay?
Yendall started the game in Belfast in October, looking to close it out now in January, and we will take that knock on for a Chiefs scrum.
I thought Dave Shanahan was going to get in for another try there, or a possible try. He comes from deep. Unfortunately, just knocks the ball on again. Ulster get the choke tackle, and it's brought back. But It's great play from both teams. Really fighting hard at the breakdown. Ian Henderson there. Franco van der Merwe giving the ball. Dave, oh, that's very unlucky. Very unlucky. Just takes his eyes off it.
I think it's fair to say this game is really opening up.
This is Stu Townsend, who, like Joe Simmons a few seconds before, is enjoying his European debut. He takes the place of Dave Lewis. We'll see a lot more, I think, of Stu Townsend over the next few months, what with the injury to Will Chudley. He's a 21-year-old, physical, robust number 9. He's dual registered with the Cornish Pirates on the other side of the Tamar Bridge. And again,
you stay close, just to make sure they are engaged with
players who's coming through this wonderful Exeter Chiefs Academy down here at Sandy Park.
Crutch! Bind! Set!
Come on, Ezra! Get it, Thomas! Go! Go! Go!
Turning scrum. Townsend needs to have his wits about him because Shanahan wasn't far away. He's turning illegally. Campagnaro once more. Woodburn working hard to keep up with him. Jackson with the tackle. Italian takes it on an extra couple of strides. Waldron with the link to Mitch Lees.
Tackler, advantage.
Penalty coming. It's within kickable range, but for Noel, everything is within runnable range. This is Devoto. Tall, upright, elegant, sidestepping centre. And now Henderson's trying to keep him off his feet. And we will come back for the penalty.
I don't know about you, Hugo, but I think Exeter are just starting to become a little bit predictable, going side to side, always having that runner out the back, and they're not really hitting that short option enough for me, sucking the Ulster defenders in. And it's not easy to defend, but you can get up and have a look and see the options out the back. And for me, they just need to put a little bit more into their game to open this Ulster team up.
1-4.
It's been very physical. That's the penalty there, not rolling away. But Exeter used the ball very well off that advantage, give themselves an opportunity. And now we're starting to see the ruthless part of Exeter's game. Steenson opted to kick at goal.
Slowing down. He tried to pull up, but...
Non, 14. 1-4.
We think that if Ulster don't manage to get at least a bonus point from this match, that will be them out of the quarter-final equation going into next weekend. Still 10 minutes to play, but this is a biggie. However, with the miss, Ulster still with a puncher's chance.
They do. It's not like Gareth Steenson. He's usually really, really good off the tee, and tonight he hasn't been his normal self, but Ulster have still got a chance. Only 5 points in this game.
By Kai Horseman, skipped at the side to the win in Bordeaux last month. It's kept them alive just, and Steenson, and again the break from Dolman, who's having a wonderful game. Tackled by Stockdale, and he needed to be tackled and stopped. And Waldron straightens things up, and Yendel's over the top for quick ball. Noel sees a way through, and that might be a yellow card. Not sure how much control Paddy Jackson had of that. And I think he knew. He had to sacrifice himself, otherwise the fear was the Chiefs were going to score another try.
I think this...
oh, they have scored another try. It's been given as a penalty try. Rory Best not happy, Stuart McCloskey not happy, but in the end the sacrifice was for nothing because he's gone for 10, and the Chiefs also have number 5.
We're just looking at it again here, and you know, I think it's probably the correct decision. It's one of those ones where if Paddy Jackson gets this ball and goes the length of the pitch, he's a hero, but unfortunately there's 3 men outside Jack Noel, and yeah, the correct decision to give a penalty try. And Paddy Jackson, something similar against Claremont away, which cost us the game, but and that's that. 10 minutes to go, but for me it's a long way back now for Ulster upwards.
There's a dozen points in it.
It's a good decision from Rowan, but as he said, 3 defenders outside up against no one. It had to be a yellow card. It was all or nothing decision from Paddy Jackson, not quite in control, as you said, Nick, and him exiting the pitch. Potentially Ulster exiting this Champions Cup as well.
It's an interesting restart without Paddy Jackson. Charles Piatow does lots of good things, but I don't think we'd have him in the world's top 100
What
kickers.
replacement? Red. 11
And,
red.
Brett
11.
Heron is coming on. Is he a young utility back? He can certainly fill in at fly half and offer some control with the boot that they're now clearly lacking without Paddy Jackson, and it means that the captain Andrew Trimble is being sacrificed.
Yeah, Brett Hearn, the last time I watched him play at out half was against Cardiff Blues away, where Ulster ran out victorious on that night, and he put in a really, really good shift. But we're seeing a young 10, a young 9. Exeter just putting the ball up the pitch. But yeah, it's a long way back. I just can't see how Ulster are going to score a couple of tries here in the last 7.5 minutes of this match to give themselves any hope of continuing on in Europe. But fair play to Exeter. They showed a lot of attitude, as Rob Baxter alluded to earlier in his interview. It's all about attitude tonight and putting in a performance, and they've really, really done that.
Last forward by Thomas Waldron. Ulster certainly talking coming into this match that they were going to need 9 points at least from their remaining 2 games to take them up to 18 and maybe challenge for one of those 3 best placed runners-up spots. But if they remain on 9 points at the end of this evening, then I think we know that Ulster Bordeaux next weekend will be there for nothing more than entertainment value.
But this is what I like about Rory Best. This is his line-out leader, getting the troops in, going through the detail of what they need. They're going to have such limited opportunities. This is a huge one now in Exeter's 22. This has got to be precise.
He's the captain now as well, Hugo, in the absence of Andrew Trimble. Warwick coming in to make sure the top secret codes have been passed on properly, and the code was to throw it to him and maybe involve Shanahan, and it might yet work. It's a meaty drive from Clive Ross. Shanahan to Henderson, who took evasive, immediate action to get beyond Devoto. Great work from Henderson. And Ulster are still giving it a thrash with McCloskey. Now Shanahan and Heron once more. Back inside to the try scorer right at the start, Reedy. Penalties on the way, but penalties are no good to Ulster now, as Van der Merwe knows. Shanahan, Piatow. Warwick. And Heron arrived from Bath this season. Rory Best. Heron again. Henderson hit back in the end by 2 Chiefs players. The decisive hit was belonging to Williams, and they'll go again quickly, and Shanahan knows this, and we think of the try that Dan Robson scored yesterday at the Rico. Instead, he decides to ship it to Henry. Piatow adds his weight into the final 5.
Hands out, 17.
Still looking for another try that would at least guarantee 1 bonus point, a try bonus point. And we'd see where what was left of the match takes us.
Yeah, a moment.
There is a sign hanging above this passage of play that reads Last Chance Saloon.
Fair play to Ulster though, Nick. They're showing a lot of good attitude here. They're retaining possession. Yes, they're not going anywhere, but they're not giving this up. They're throwing everything but the kitchen sink at this, and try and get over. Give themselves a couple of minutes maybe to get another try, but you got to give credit also to the Exeter defence. They're coming out of the line. They're putting the boys back. Ulster have lost 15-20 metres here in the last 10 phases or so. As you say, last chance saloon indeed.
Tackle!
now been knocked out of the 22, but Best and Ludic will try and do something about this, and here goes Piatow. And there was extra interest in that tackle from Jack Knoll. And it's nice to see as Piatow gets back to his feet. The first to offer a hand is Knoll.
There's a huge amount of respect between the two players. Another opportunity. Good cover tackle.
Thank you.
And this one was absolutely personal. Had to make sure that he got his man this time. I'm not sure that was in touch. Either way, decision's given. Very good tackle from Jack Knoll.
Two more Ulster changes. Paul Marshall is on for Shanahan, and Rory Best given way to John Andrew. Piatow will look to rebuild back in his own 22, Stephen.
That is a huge, huge nudge. Jacob Stockdale, a lot of people think he's got the attributes like Tommy Bowe. He's tall, he's rangy, he's fairly pacey. He's come off the bench and hasn't had much ball tonight, but here come Ulster on the attack once more.
Yep, Marshall linking up with Piatow, and who was hit back hard, and Johnny Simpson, who was at the centre of that one. Net result, Chiefs ball, which Stu Townsend on his European debut hoofs downfield. Piatow, and he's tackled by Townsend. That is very good work from the young scrum half. It's perhaps not surprising that Charles Piatow might be beginning to feel the pace of this match. He's been absolutely everywhere. And that's nicely done by Reedy. Williams barging his way through. And again, and still, it's Ulster, this time with Andrew. Rob Herring amongst those on that list that we've talked about, the injured.
John Andrews, a great young player, though. He's a brilliant ball carrier, a lot of pace. But you have Rory Best on the field. It's hard to get on ahead of him. And another spilt ball, turnover ball again here, once again for Exeter.
It's red, let it come,
well,
let it
Exeter
come.
have got numbers, and Charles Piatow's got cramp. I wouldn't normally say this, but you'd run at him, attack him, get into that channel.
Piatow has it. Head down. Takes himself almost up to the 22.
Right offside.
This is Simpson. 56 minutes of Ulster action before tonight. He's adding to that. Here goes Marshall, 31-year-old now in his 11th season. And Connacht's John Cooney's perhaps interesting Ulster's recruiters next season. For the time being, Paul Marshall continuing to do what he can. Exeter's defence had them lassoed around, and there was no way through for Ulster, Stephen.
No, it's just kind of shoveling on the ball here. I think they're going to make another couple of mistakes. No, they've retained possession. Yeah, it's tough to watch from an Ulster point of view. You know, we came here with massive hopes of getting a result and keeping the European dream alive, but that hasn't happened. And the reason it hasn't happened for me is because Exeter have just been better on the night, in attack, in defence, and fair play to Exeter. You know, Hugo mentioned at the top of the programme that could have been a dead rubber for them, but it's certainly not, and they've played with a lot of attitude tonight.
One last solo from Jack Knoll, maybe, and Dolman, who's been an excellent backup guitarist tonight. Here goes Knoll once more, released initially by Steenson. To the final 10 seconds. Ulster now know that the European road this season will not go beyond the Kingspan and the game with Bordeaux next weekend. But Exeter equally with a big 5-point win here with the bonus point try are still in the shake-up. They've taken all the marbles tonight, and after what happened 12 months ago, nobody, least of all Rob Baxter, is writing off their European ambitions just yet. It's going to take another mathematical miracle, but they've given themselves that opportunity. What a contest that was. So many individual highlights to recall. But in the end, collectively, it was the Chiefs who were just too good on the night. They've won by 31 points to 19.